Hey guys, it's your girl Stacey the Intuitive. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to come here and talk to you guys about some things today, specifically relating to surrendering to God, having faith and trust, and what that truly means. Because I feel like so many of us have been in this energy of kind of resisting being in that feminine energy, which the feminine energy is so in connection to God and the divine, and it allows itself to flow through and trust and rely on the intuitive, the inner knowing, and being in alignment with the ecosystem. And so many of us kind of resist that energy. And I understand that because it's super easy to do when you're in this world of kind of experiencing this perceived separation with God. So I got a little bit of inside knowledge as I've finally taken the plunge to surrender as well. And I wanted to share it with you guys because I think it's such useful information. Now, I'm going to just kind of go into a little bit of detail, just kind of about how this played out for me and everything, and hopefully that resonates with you. And then we'll get a little bit into the logistics a little bit more. So, yeah, guys, I have been in a journey for the past probably like couple years where I have been prompted to trust God a lot. This has been such a pivotal time in building my connection with God, right? There is this energy where like I have had wounds and things like that have gotten in the way, but it's always been a process consistently to working through those things. And it's been such a beautiful journey seeing how God interacts with me because of this deep inner knowing about who I am and how I'll react and how to prompt different awarenesses within me, and me kind of responding to that and navigating with that as well. So recently, I've honestly been prompted to just kind of like surrender and let go. I think that there's this time of initiation that will happen for a lot of us after we've been on this journey of learning to trust and get closer in our connection with God, where God will initiate us into essentially surrendering to a point where we can't do anything about our circumstances. It'll literally be set up in such a way where like, I literally can't do anything about this. Even if in the past you have maybe believed that you could do certain things, those methods that you've tried won't be feasible. They won't feel like they're gonna do anything or whatever. So God really puts us in a position where we feel we can't do anything, but so much so that it's not meant to be disempowering. Because I think that in the past, a lot of us who experience this energy go through a time where they feel disempowered and not being able to do anything, which is why there's this constant chase of trying to be able to do something in order to change your circumstances. But God puts you into a position where you are forced to kind of surrender. You're forced to kind of choose to surrender and, give your all to God. But I feel this happens after a period of having built up your connection so much so with God, where it doesn't seem like a crazy ask. And you kind of just like, okay, I surrender. And that's kind of where I am. And it kind of puts you in this position where, you're kind of forced to expand your perspective on this state of surrender, of flow, of allowing, right? And for me, that's happening in such a way where like I kind of am becoming more privy to the ways that God is showing up in my life. And that's why the feminine energy is so important. There will be times where we talk about the masculine, because we all have feminine, masculine, and how important both aspects are. But that's why the feminine is so important, because it's receptive. And when you're not in the feminine, when you're not in tune with your feminine, you are not able to receive kind of what God is trying to send you. And so for me personally, there was this energy of like not being able to receive all of these beautiful gems that I'm experiencing now, that kind of just deepened my connection with the self, deepened my connection with God, and all of these things. And let me tell you a little bit how that is showing up for me. So for instance, like I said, I've kind of been forced into this position of surrender, in a position where I can't do much, labeled as something that I would see normally as chaos energy, where just all this stuff comes in and it's like you feel kind of out of control. And in this state, there are wounds that are being triggered and things like that, but kind of like within my own being. Like I'm not going and taking actions to kind of have that reflected back to me or anything. It's just within my own being, right? And just kind of having to sit through whatever comes up. But I've honestly found in this energy that God is showing up even more than I've ever experienced in the times where I felt like I had to do. Because I think I had got into this like really bad cycle of like doing, just like being very masculine oriented. And that's not to say I neglected my feminine, because I've always been like a very nurturing, intuitive, like, type of person. But I just feel like they weren't balanced in the sense that like my masculine energy was, it just wasn't balanced. Like there was an imbalance in general. And so at this stage, right, I'll have moments where maybe I'm having, like, my mind is doing a number on me or something like that, or I'm kind of, going to that state where I'm feeling like things might start to, I might start to spiral negatively or whatever. My mind might start to spiral negatively or something like that. And God literally, as if God is in the room with me and knows the right things to say, plants a seed of a thought or of a perspective of a sense of awareness in my mind that instantly, and I mean this, instantly brings me to another state. And I kid you not, I know it's God. I mean, I know it's God, but it happens in such a way where it's God, because how did that just come out at the right time? How is this consistently? It's like you have a person like there. I'm just gonna kind of give it an analogy. Like if you are, I don't know, like if you're in a car and you're driving and you start going off track, like this person who's just routing you back to the GPS, like on track, or maybe you start falling asleep or something and there's just someone who's constantly there waking you up. That's what it's feeling like in this state with God. It's like God is constantly like reeling me back in. It's just like literally right there though. Whereas in the past, when I would take action and stuff like that and try to control my circumstance, not be in flow, I would find that God was constantly needing to like give me a delay, because okay, now we need to undo. Now we need to reflect on what is being reflected back from this space of hurt or, lacking trust and blah, blah, blah. So I want to go deeper into that in the sense that when we are acting in this masculine energy, this toxic masculine energy, this non-trusting energy, this energy that neglects the feminine, we oftentimes self-sabotage and we act out of the energy that is not trusting, that is hurt, that is in pain, or whatever have you. And whenever you act out of pain, what's reflected back to you? Pain. Whenever you act out of lacking trust, what's reflected back to you? Lacking trust. So God will constantly need to clear up the mirror. If the world is a mirror and you're the one who's reflected in it, now God needs to clear up all that smoke that's created by whatever pain, whatever conditioning comes up, rather than just you seeing very clearly. And what initiated me into this too is like this moment that I had with God of like, okay, I'm choosing to be in truth. It doesn't matter. From this point on, I'm choosing truth, and having that truth reflected back to me just allowed God to have all this other truth reflected back. And now that's kind of the momentum that we've created. And because I'm so deep in this like trusting, having faith, I don't want to do anything unless absolutely prompted by my divine creator, because I am experiencing such closeness with God, right? And this closeness, like I said, is coming through in God kind of doing that for me, but also just like these new awakenings that I'm having literally every single day. Like sometimes we have this perception of the world that it can't be so divine because it just seems so mundane, but so many little things can be so divine, from just waking up in the morning, from making yourself breakfast, all these things. And it's really just about your awareness of God and God's intentionality with you. But it's so hard to become aware of God if you're not receiving the awarenesses that God's trying to send to you, and instead you're stuck in your projections, in your conditioning, in your pain, in your woundedness, and whatever have you. And God is always trying to clear that up so that we can see so clearly. And that's why I want to talk about like divine feminine energy. I've had this thing kind of within me so much lately where people talk about divine feminine energy, but they neglect the part of what it means to be divine in femininity. And the divinity part truly comes from your ability to receive your creator, to receive that which God is sending to you, to be in connection to the all that is, to be in connection to God, and that kind of reflected in your world. Feminine energy is taken care of by God, and I've been feeling that so much lately. It's literally like God is like taking care of my mind, body, and spirit. And that's what it means to be feminine. It's like the outdoor, the nature that God has created takes care of my mind and body. My soul is taken care of by feeling like I belong in the world. All these things, my mind is taken care of by God, constantly bringing these new awarenesses that get me to love myself even deeper. That is what it means to be divinely feminine. It means to be in connection to God in all of your beingness. When you're in flow, it's because you trust God and God's plan for you. When you're receiving, it's because you're trusting that which God is giving to you. It's not at all about this material realm. And it is in the sense that the material realm reflects these things back to you, but it's so much about the immaterial, about the spiritual. And that's what makes divine feminine energy so divine. And I've just been feeling that so much lately as I navigate through this world in such a way where in the past I felt so like afraid to be in this energy, because I thought things like feminine energy is scary because it requires that you fall and trust that you'll be caught. And so I had been afraid to fall, and so many of us have been afraid to fall. And it's so crazy that when you're put in this energy, it's like you're kind of just like cradled like a little baby. And that's such a beautiful thing about feminine energy, is just like this energy of being taken care of. And so much to be said, but really what I'm trying to get at is that this beautiful surrender energy really allows you to get so in connection with God. And that's what makes divine feminine energy divine feminine energy. It is your faith and trust in everything that takes place in your reality, everything that takes place in the immaterial, and how it's happening for you. And I just wanted to share that because I had been so afraid of just like letting go. But it's like in letting go is where I found all of these gifts, all of these beautiful things, all of these awarenesses that are just so supportive. And everybody deserves that, right? It's not something outside of you that's going to, you know, make you feel trusting or whatever. It's literally God. And I guess that is outside of you, but in the sense that you are a part of God. You've been created by God. So who better to take care of you in this way? Right? We don't have to take care of ourselves as much as we think we do. We do, but we're even supported in taking care of ourselves. And that's what I wanted to express. I've just felt like God has literally just been here, like taking care of me. Like, and I was so trying to do everything. And I mean, I'm so grateful for the path because every single moment led me to this very moment. And I have such value in my masculine energy in that, of course, as I start taking actions and things, they're supported by this feminine energy that is in flow, and in that it comes from a divine space rather than from a hurt space, a conditioned space, all of that. I had to surrender and let go of things and trust that God would catch me. And here I am, having been caught. And things don't have to be so hard. Things don't have to be such a challenge. And we live in such a masculine society that does teach you that things have to be challenging, things have to be hard. And that's what scares us. That's what scared me. Like, even like when I was holding on to things, it's because I thought that like letting go, the process of letting go, the process of detaching or whatever would be so hard. But here God is down to a T, like protecting my mind so that it's not even hard. But I wasn't open to receiving that care, that love, and all of that, which is a lot of the time, if we look in the mirror, why we see ourselves chasing those things, chasing security, chasing love, chasing happiness, whatever, looking for those things to be reflected from the outside, because it's more scary than like potentially being let down if you just let go and don't make it your responsibility. But when we let go and we make it God's responsibility, and not saying that that takes like personal responsibility off of us and things, but just trusting that, like there's such a big deal that like we have a creator, like someone created us like in a perfect vision, right? And so trusting that the creation is made perfectly, you have to trust that the functions that we are meant to live out are supported and things like that. And we don't have to like try to navigate this whole thing like without an understanding of our own selves. Like God is supporting us and understanding ourselves, like giving us the instruction manual as we walk. And so we don't have to be so like rigid, and we don't have to feel so like pushing up against these walls that God is willing to carry us over. Okay. Such a beautiful concept. And I feel like I'm at a point where I'm kind of like, I've gotten everything out that I want to say. I feel like the message has been received, or, it's been relayed. And so I just pray that you guys are able to receive this message, and that you guys are able to let go. And this takes you the plunge to let go, and just understand that like, you're not gonna have to wait for anything. You're not gonna have to do anything. The moment that you choose to let go, God is gonna catch you. Like, please just trust that. And it makes whatever you're going through so much smaller, in the sense that God has already had that covered. This is about you, and you're so much bigger than that. But we focus our attention on these like small little minuscule aspects of our lives when we're so much bigger. The intention is so much bigger, in that there's so much awareness for us to be gained, rather than focusing our awareness on these little things. So it's already figured out. You don't have to figure anything out. And we need to stop getting in our own way by letting like the smoke get in between the mirror of clarity that wants to be seen there, the divine intentions that are already playing out. Okay, stop getting in your own way. Surrender. It's fun over here, I promise you. Okay, and I'm so excited to continue sharing this journey with you guys. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like my energy, and I will continue just sharing things with you guys on my journey. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.